What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the right side of the map in the red color, playing as Kronos. His name is Ulysses. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Odin. His name is the Rapl. The map is Tundra Pools. And we already see something very interesting starting off this game here from Rapl. He goes in with a very, very early wall on this position to attempt to protect his dock from the impending Oracle deconstruction here. We'll see if he's going to be able to get that one up in time or not, or if Ulysses is going to be able to get in there and cause some problems. There is a slight bit of wall he's going to need to throw up over here as well, but I like this idea from Rapl. He places that down. He doesn't actually even need to finish the wall. Absolutely correct here from Rapl. He can delete that later if he so chooses. As the Ulysses retreats back on this position. The other thing is Rapl could also throw a house here and put another small wall over on the other side as he moves back into his home base here. The villagers are in position to shank down the oracles moving in as well on this position here. So if they want to try and sneak around here, Rapl is going to be able to shank those down and prevent that from happening. I love this idea from Rapl to play around the early deconstruction to give himself a nice early game here in this game. We'll see how things are going to matter here as Rapl moves in. He's going to start potentially shanking down that Oracle, and indeed does do so. Same thing here for the villagers as the Ulysses Oracle needs to retreat away, and he's realized Rapple's come up with a great idea here, and Ulysses has got to pull all the way back home with that Oracle. Rapple's going to be in for a nice opening here after all is said and done. No delay from that deconstruction from the Kronos of Ulysses. A huge advantage in fact for Rapl here. And the other thing is he can delete these wooden walls if he so chooses to get back that little bit of gold if he needs to do that. Whether or not he's going to choose to do it or not remains to be seen. I don't know, but it's an option for him a little bit later, only losing around about 1 gold from each of those things. So getting back his 15, 3, and 3. So maybe getting back about 18 goldish after all is said and done there as the temple gets dropped down in the main base here for Rapl. Now, I've talked about this a little bit about how Norse, and in particular Odin and Loki, to me, seem like an incredibly great option to use against the Atlanteans on Tundra Pools. Why? Because they've got access to Undermine, and 2, they've got access to this huge amount of Ulfsark spammage that can happen with a well-created, well-constructed build order. You can go up for, I have seen advances as fast as 4 minutes and 5 seconds here with 1 dock with Odin on this map in order to do a huge Heimdall rush that's very tough for Kronos to defend against. You can in fact ignore the pressure your opponent puts onto your water and just go for the jugular straight away. No problems where that's concerned if you want with Odin. Or you can just simply play it normally from behind, and we'll see how things are going to go as the dock is going to be coming in. We have talked about this a little bit, how the fishing ships here, or the fishing pond here, is actually able on every single one of these positions here. You can chuck a dock down and you can time shift onto these positions. So if you put a dock here, for example, you can time shift onto this position here. If you put a dock here, you can time shift onto this position here. And if you put a dock here, you can obviously time shift onto this position here. So it makes it very, very tough for both players to kind of deal with this. And here's the other thing. Ulysses at this point, he has got access to deconstruction still. He's got 2 deconstructs, so he can deconstruct this dock, no problems, as the Bareem's going to come straight through here. The Promethean going to be coming in, and it looks to me like Rapl might be getting pushed off of this water immediately here in this game, as the Bareem is going to come up, and this dock looks like it's come through just that little bit too slow for Rapl. As the Bareem is out, the Ulysses retreating back, going to be putting up those walls. A little bit of a mistake there as the deconstruction coming down. Rapl will be pulling his fishing ships back. Will he get back in time? He gets back in time for the vast majority of them, but 14 food, 28 food there, not not dumped, and all of those fishing ships are going to be getting taken down. Rapl now is going to be in a very, very difficult position as the unit's going to start pushing in to take down that gold mine. The Valkyrie is out. He's going to be able to start putting pressure onto his opponent immediately here as the house construction getting prevented. Going to get refunded a little bit of resources there as the villagers moving onto the bottom side of the map there. The Ulysses coming down to the bottom here to look for maybe another dock over here as well as the longhouse is coming up. Meanwhile, the house getting targeted down as the Hearser comes through to attempt to put a stop to that. But Rapl, he needs to get a lot more buildings up as they're getting targeted down incredibly fast here. As this Ulfsark manages to get the Longhouse down. Houses coming through here as well as the Prometheans are continuing to come in. All the fishing ships have been dealt with. I think Ulysses overcommitted a little bit on the Bareme production here as the fishing ships are starting up as well. The Valkyrie now moving into the main base here. Town Center going to be getting a little bit of damage done onto this Valkyrie as the counterbarracks coming in. The temple does get brought back and Ulysses is saying, well, time to start moving into the next part of the game as the dock coming up on this position. A forest fire getting dropped down here by Rapl to get a little bit of damage done. A little bit overzealous there from Rapl. I'm not sure exactly what he was trying to accomplish there from that forest fire as the units here, they're all kind of low HP, but that forest fire didn't really get all too many kills as the dock does manage to get up, excuse me, as the Ulfsark manages to finish that one. The Hearser are going to come through and finish off those Prometheans relatively quickly as the fishing ships starting up on this position as well. We'll see what Rappl's plans are moving forward as the Valkyrie gets pushed back. The Oracle here is in, grabbing that Tusk of the Iron Boar. Definitely important to keep that one away from the Odin player in this game. Boots to Kick Everything is also here. That's a huge relic for both players as well to be picking up. We'll see if Ulysses is going to go for that one as well after all is said and done, as another dock coming down on this position here for Rapl, as he's going to try and make sure he at least gets one pond here in this game, as we see Ulysses moving over onto this position with his villager. Still, I mean, the difference between moving from this tree to here and I guess this tree over to what would it be here, not that much of a difference, so completely fine to go for that as the Valkyrie still searching around looking for some raids as Lone Wanderer going to be coming through here for Rapl. After all is said and done, Norse still has a very, very strong game against Atlantean. Even with the extra food here coming through for Kronos, Rapl can still go through for his main game plans here, and considering he's got at least the one fishing location here, he's getting that last fishing ship out as well. Considering he's got this, he's still going to have a decent amount of resources here in this game as the units pushing forward, going to be checking here to try and get some sort of a deconstruction in, as he's got the deconstruction to come through very, very shortly to slow down any sort of shenanigans on this position here. And I wonder if he can time shift onto this location as well. Could be an option. Not 100% sure. As Ulysses has to retreat back for the time being. 75 pop for Rapl. Ulysses at 90 here, so got to still be careful if you're Rapl here. He doesn't really want to take any fights, but he's pushing himself into a kind of a difficult position here, as Ulysses probably could be engaging on these fights. Those thrown axemen are a little bit scary, but the fact he's got all those Promethean out, all he has to do is target down those Hearser in the early stages of the fight, keep those Promethean away from the Hearser, and he should be in a decent position here, but it looks like he's going after the thrown axemen with those Terma, not really keeping his Promethean too safe here, and Rapl has microed it nicely to start the game off as the Ulfsark pushing through, taking down those hero Terma very, very quickly here in this position. As all that's remaining is a couple of hero Murmillo, as Rapl takes down the majority of the Terma. The Ulfsark the Murmillo still remaining. They're very, very useful against those Ulfsark. So it looks like it's still a very close fight, but 60 population for Rapl to 80 population for Ulysses. Ulysses' population obviously more so in the economy right now than Rapl's. So military-wise, they're still pretty close here. So Rapl manages to take a decent trade after all is said and done. Ulysses with nearly enough resources to grab a second town center if he so chooses. Generally speaking, though, Kronos probably wants to stay one town center here. Probably wants to go for the heroic age here through Hyperion to continue in this game. Why? Getting access to the Satyr, getting access to the Chaos, most importantly for usage against the Frost Giant when that comes out, combating maybe also that Frost a little bit as well in the heroic age, and also getting access to the Palace to start setting up for the defense against a potential Ragnarok, or even getting a gold starve as well. As the Rapl units pushing through here, the Caraballas are getting some damage done from afar as those Ulfs are going to be retreating away here. We see the Thrown Axemen retreating back home. Raiding cavalry coming out now for Rapl as he sees those Caraballas there. It's always a good idea to start making those raiding cavalry when you see the Caraballas. You can't continue with pure Ulfsark against Caraballas, and Rapl here is going to take that advantage to go straight after those Caraballas. If Rappel's dock gets taken down here, this dock can get deconstructed as we see one longboat going to be coming through here in an attempt to defend this part, as we are seeing a couple of straggle units getting targeted down here. Allowing the dock to go down might not be the best of ideas here for Rapl. As he gets the longboat out, as the unit's pushing over here, I imagine a deconstruction will come through. That is available here. Ulysses hasn't decided to do it just yet, as that longboat getting some good amounts of damage done onto the Momillo here, as the units coming through here to start targeting that down. There's that deconstruction as units turning around, taking this fight, hurting the economy of Rapl severely here on this one as well, as we do see a dock coming up on this position as well. As a handful of Barim have to get produced out to defend on that position. Nice play from Rapl to get that up as well. As the Caraballas are getting targeted down here, almost all getting picked off, but Rapl not microing onto the right unit here as the Momillo managed to take down the majority of those, or managed to take down all of the raiding cavalry almost, as the raiding cavalry retreats away. Rapl needs to get his dock back up on this position, still putting pressure over here as the town center is now up for Ulysses. One citizen getting targeted down as Rapl manages to get in there with that speed of the Norse army. As a Thrown Axeman trying to sneak over here to get the dock back up on this position. No attempt at putting up a dock here either, as Ulysses is actually set a patrol on that Barim there to ensure that no dock can come up for the rest of the game. But it is an investment of 2 population for the entirety of this game to make that happen. As the Barim's still moving around here, as the unit's going to come back for Ulysses to target this down. And this is the kind of distraction here that Rapl needs, as his army swinging in onto this position. Ghost building getting dropped down here to prevent the army from retreating. Nice play where that's concerned. Can he get that one in? No, he doesn't quite manage to make that work, as the Longhouse is getting removed as he chases down with those Valkyrie as best as he possibly can to take everything else out. The dock going to be getting cleaned up. Random 2 fishing ships in this position for whatever reason for Rapl. Just faking it as best as he possibly can there, I guess. As the Barims clean up the remainder on that position, and Rapl retreating back, but Rapl now 106 of 115 population. Armory coming down. He's going to be planning to get to that next age. There is a gold mine over here, so this map is really, really nice for Rapl after all is said and done. As the Ulfsark retreating away, the raiding cavalry, Valkyrie, 4 Valkyrie out here for Rapl is a huge deal. As the armory gets prevented, no real problem here for Rapl after all is said and done, because he doesn't have the resources to get to the heroic age just yet. So he's got no rush in getting the armory up. As a Longhouse coming down, armory in the main base now, as more units coming through here. Rapl obviously should be aware that fighting the Atlantean army at this point is not in his best interest, even though he's got those Valkyrie. Just getting nice snipes onto the Caraballister and giving himself an advantage here would be the right way to play, as the raiding cavalry coming through. Nice micro here from Ulysses, speed walking the Caraballister to safety. Nice pullback micro there from Rapl to get away from that fight, trying to just get in as best as he possibly can, as the raiding cavalry getting split up here, trying to surround the army as best as he possibly can here. Some units coming forward here for Ulysses, maybe grabbing that 3rd town center. After all is said and done, Hyperion also coming in here for Ulysses, so he's in a fantastic position economically, technologically, and militarily here in this game. Rapl going to be having a huge advantage coming soon, though, with that Skadi coming through with Frost. So we'll see if he can get good value out of that, but he will have the chaos to have to be dealt with as well, which probably means at this point a Valkyrie going to get converted, because there's 4 out and only going to be 1 Frost Giant, obviously 1 in 5 to hit the Frost Giant if Ulysses holds on to it, or he's just going to go for the free kill on 1 Valkyrie after all is said and done in the early stages of this heroic age of Ulysses. That 3rd town center coming through there. Probably not going to be able to defend that one or prevent that one. Rapl might want to consider grabbing himself some town centers himself here, as he's moving up to the top side of the map to grab the Elk over there. As Ulysses starting to move forward, looking for a little bit more pressure. He's still got his eye on this gold mine, but surely he knows there's a gold mine. He doesn't know there's a gold mine in the back there. He's got a side gold mine himself, so he basically should be aware that there's got to be a gold mine where that's concerned. We do see Chaos getting dropped down, but the Citizen does still get caught out nonetheless here, as the units here going to be retreating away after that pick there. Nice play from Rapl. Good awareness, good snipe as the units coming through to try and deny the town center, but they're throwing Axeman in here to defend this one. He can very easily defend this position as the house did get taken down, can put that one back up. More units going to be coming through here for Ulysses. We'll see how well Ulysses is going to be able to spread his army to play around the impending frost that's coming through right now. All the units coming in onto this position, and we do indeed see that immediate frost getting dropped down onto this position. One Kyra Ballister gets caught out of position here, not getting frosted, and never mind, it gets frosted, and Rapl should be able to get himself up this town center. He is sneaking some food at the top side of the map. It's 46 villages, 5 fishing ships, for 17 citizen, times that by 3. You're looking at around about equal citizen count. Probably a little bit more citizen, actually, that for Ulysses, and a lot more fishing ships. So economically speaking, Ulysses has got all the advantage here. As another citizen gets sniped down as the units coming back in for Rapl, he's going to be attempting to hold here. That Frost Giant here is going to be a big, big help after all is said and done, as it does manage to freeze one Promethean. But Ulysses, he should be thinking about how can he survive here in this game. That should be the answer. So long as he survives the Ragnarok, he should be in a good position to win, moving into like Fanatics and things like that in the late game. Can be very tough for Norse to deal with. He's also got the potential of going for an Argus to kind of deal with the Fire Giant, the impending Fire Giant that's coming. Rapl has already clicked up through Balder. The unit's going to be retreating away here. For Ulysses, he loses a lot of population. There are a lot of units falling. He's still sitting at 137 or 145 pop here, but he does lose quite a bit as the Gaiad units still fighting on this position get taken down as well. And Rapl now going to move up to this other town center. The other thing here that Rapl needs to have in the back of his mind is he doesn't necessarily need to click Ragnarok straight away. However, every single moment that passes that he waits on the Ragnarok does mean that Ulysses is going to get further and further ahead in economy, which means more defenses are going to get placed down, which means that Ragnarok is going to become less and less useful. So it's a bit of a trade between one of the other things, a bit of a trade between the two decisions here. We do see Atlas is coming through as well for Ulysses, so that's going to be huge as units are going to try and put a stop to this town center coming up. Units immediately turn around, taking the fight, pushing the units back. The town center continuing to come up with that Ulfsark in the back as the raiding cavalry searching around for raids on the back location. As another manor getting taken, or not a manor, but a house getting taken down. Rapl here, I don't see a market anywhere on the map that's useful, just the market in the main base, so he's not going to be going for any trade straight away. But whether or not he clicks the Ragnarok straight away remains to be seen. And that Atlas coming in with an Implode is going to be huge here for the defensive capabilities of Ulysses. He's going to be able to effectively take out an entire army of Rapl. Not necessarily all of the Rag heroes, but at least all of the human units will be able to go down, and the help of that Argus coming through for Ulysses. And this is, you also have to remember, as Ragnarok does actually get clicked here, you have to remember that Kronos has got the faster Argus as well. So Kronos with Atlas is a lot better than Gaia with Atlas. Those Gaia Argus versus Kronos Argus, a lot better, as the unit's going to be moving in straight away. Finding that gold mine immediately is gigantic here for Rapl. Ulysses at 300 gold at the moment, pushed off every gold mine bar this one. The palace is up over here. We'll see how many more palaces that Ulysses can put down as Rapl pushing through here. The units targeting onto this position as best as he possibly can. Fortified town centers is through for Ulysses. He's also got himself the Blanket of Empress and Masons to help him out with this defense, as Atlas does pop the blue units streaming in onto this position here to take down the palace and everything else, as the units targeting down this town center as well. We do see the Implode getting thrown down onto this position. How much HP, however, as if we can click on, that's a huge amount of damage done onto those heroes of Ragnarok. Down to 16 HP after that Ragnarok, but he doesn't hit all of them. He doesn't hit all of them at all. as more of them are going to come through. It's also going to do damage to his own buildings here. At least I believe that's what happens as the Implode shockwave does come through. The palace now down to 390 HP. So this town center getting taken down. The Argus looking like it's searching for a fire giant to take out at this point. He can also use chaos on the fire giant if he so chooses here. As this town center falls, the gold mine over here going to be getting taken down after all is said and done as well here. As the citizen pulling back here, Ulysses at this point trying to make out some fanatics. He's at 140 population, still sitting full population. He's still trying to stay alive after all is said and done. Chaos does get dropped onto this position, but the fire giant here might, it looks like it's decided to target down some heroes of Ragnarok here. If you do just send that hero of Ragnarok back over to target the fire giant, then delete, you might see the fire giant targeting down the town center instead. Could be a good way to utilize that as the palace getting targeted down over here. The village is still trying to grab this gold mine here. Only 1,000 gold left in it, but that's going to be a huge help as Rapl is now dropped down to 129 population. Ulysses at 100 population. Both players struggling mightily here at this point in this game, but Rapl is simply going to be able to get his economy going back up very fast because he's got those 5 fishing ships to help him out. It's like having 5 of the donkey caravans or ox caravans out as the citizen attempting to make a break for it. I'm sure that Rapl is not going to be allowing that as the Valkyrie chase those down. He doesn't need to invest too much into that. The gold is now being pushed off. Ulysses has got no gold income remaining for the time being. A random destroyer up the top side of the map. No gold here, no gold income here, no gold income here. He does have the trading ability at this point. He's down to 15 villages as that Argus does end up falling as well. As Rapl, he's still got plenty of a population remaining. The citizens still getting taken down as these citizen here are also all going down. So he's going to drop down to 11 citizen after all is said and done. As Rapl, he's not going to be allowing those to get back to safety anytime soon. More villagers coming out onto the wood here as Rapl potentially wants to throw down some farms. He obviously hasn't put any farms down just yet. So that's going to be important. There's also some hunt down on the bottom of the map if he wants to go for that. As Arcus coming through here for Ulysses. It kind of looks to me like a huge amount of damage has been done. But Ulysses here, he's going to be able to repopulate his army. He's going to be able to repopulate his economy here. You'd have to expect. Look at the trade down the bottom for the moment here. Selling food, selling wood, plenty remaining here. You can sell tons of food that's in the bank here to get gold out, to produce some more units. Those Arcus, so long as he shoots from range, can deal with those heroes of Ragnarok nice and slowly. As you can see over here, a couple of citizens have still fallen down to 12 citizen remaining here for Ulysses. The Heroes of Ragnarok unfortunately bugged out here. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but Rapl going to be losing all of those Heroes of Ragnarok effectively for free here as he still hasn't paid attention. And that's a huge hit to the forces of Rapl, who's going to be kicking himself there. He must have accidentally hit the stop command or something there as those Heroes of Ragnarok retreating back home. As we see the military barracks going down over here as well. Units going to start moving forward. Remember, Fire Giant follow-up is available. There's no chaos remaining. There's no god powers remaining in this game. So those Fire Giant going to be huge to deal with. The medium Arcus in this position as well, as we do see those Hero of Ragnarok happily going to move in here to take this fight here, even though the Arcus do some good damage. Once the Heroes of Ragnarok get on top of them, they just melt as they're retreating back. Now the citizen back onto a gold mine over here. We'll see if Rapl can continue the raids, continue the damage. He cannot quite get that ghost building down. He does manage to get it down on this position though, as the Arcus shoot that one and he gets through for the time being. Got a couple more hits of damage and Rapl says, all right, got to retreat back. 33 villages for Rapl to 15 villages for Ulysses. So after all is said and done, Ulysses has got a significant income advantage at this point, but Rapl has got the Fire Giant coming through, and those are so big at this point. 600 HP, 80% pierce armor. And look at the damage that he's going to be able to do on this as those Arcus immediately retreat. Does not quite get the special ability off. We'll see if some Argus are going to be coming through, and they indeed will be. You kind of want to get the upgrade onto those Argus as well. It's really, really big. It makes the recharge time much, much lower, and I believe it increases speed. Is that correct? No, it just increases the Argus special attack recharge time in the line of sight. But obviously, Argus already faster with the Kronos ability there, as Rapl going to push forward and say, not today. You're not going to get this town center that easily. And good positioning here from Rapl to pull back his units here, trying to utilize the fire giant. But Hero Arcus coming in now. You got to be careful about those. Nice play from Ulysses, as it's a bit of a chess match going on. And both players here going to need to spend some time to fix up all of that economy coming through. Ulysses obviously wants his third town center back. He's going to be able to get that back up. Rapl at this point, trying to put up a hill fort, wants to get himself out some Huskal most likely to deal with the Arcus ball that's coming through for him as he pushes in to take down those Hero Arcus as best as he possibly can, pulling back ever so slightly. He needs to bide his time here to get that hill fort up, and we'll see if he's going to be able to make that happen here as the villagers moving up to the top side of the map. Going to be looking to grab some gold up here as well. Does not necessarily need to grab this gold mine with all of his effort here, so long as he can have a little bit of gold income, he should be fine. But definitely a hill fort in a bit of a better position wouldn't go astray here, as the Arcus getting pulled back. The Arcus getting pulled back as the Argus coming in with that 4.15 speed here. Nice catch out there from Rapl as he manages to take that one down without losing a single fire giant, but one about to fall as the Hero Arcus managed to deal with that one. But the Arcus have to pull back as the Destroyer coming through to try and take out that hill fort, but not going to be able to do so just yet. So Ulysses' next step here, and he does realize it, is get the palace down and start making Fanatics. Fanatics are so strong against the late game Norse. Effectively, even throwing axemen don't necessarily counter the Fanatics, even though they get that 125% bonus damage against the Fanatics. They don't counter them. So because the Fanatics are doing 100% bonus damage plus have 15 damage at full, whatever the damage is at full. They do so much bonus damage, it's not funny. So we'll see how this game is going to eventuate here. Rapl's at 120 population. He's got 60 villages right now, so he's managed to repopulate. He's in a good position. The raids are going to continue here for Rapl. He's never going to be taking his foot off the accelerator. Villagers happily grabbing Hunt up at this position. And look at this. Rapl hasn't even started farms just yet. That's so smart. No farms until the 23rd minute of this game is going to be helping out a huge amount here. Same too for Ulysses, it seems. Ulysses isn't getting any food income because he's got the 14 fishing ships out from having 3 ponds at this point. As the Arcus targeting down on this position, we do see the raids hitting the Citizen over here. Nice play. Ballista actually coming through for Rapl. I love that. He's going to be able to fight from range here as he turns around, and the units coming through to start hitting the villagers on this position. Obviously, little bits of raids here are going to be a big help. The double ox cart going to be enough here, though, for Rapl to say you're not going to get that damage done, as the longboat coming through here could start helping out here. Again, a little bit of population being wasted on this position just to prevent anything from coming through here, as we do see those longboats starting to, well, that longboat starting to help out. The fire giant getting some good damage done from afar here, as the units here not quite moving into the position they need to really help out. But it looks like Rapl should be able to clean this army up nicely, as Ulysses here takes a pretty bad fight, and that should be enough to say Rapl is in the not the late game, but he's stabilized after that Ragnarok. He's repopulated his economy. He's getting himself his upgrades, and he's stabilized after all is said and done. And a stable Norse versus I would say that Ulysses here is also stabilized, but obviously both players still need to make sure they take good fights, because the upgrades are going to be so very, very important. The fact that there's Ballista coming in onto this fight is absolutely gigantic. Ballista don't do any bonus damage against units, but they deal 9 pierce damage times 3 per second, and that's gigantic. Obviously, not all the projectiles hit, but if you shoot them into a bunch of units, then they're still doing a huge amount of damage per second here. As the palace are now pushing forward here, going to start taking down the palace as well. Fire giants, 3 fire giants here for Rapl. Engineers also coming in. What else can Ulysses start doing? And this is it for Ulysses. Really smart play from Ulysses. the biggest weakness of Norse is defending. Make the Norse player defend. If that's possible, then you can find yourself an advantage in the game. But Rapl here, he's got an army that's incredibly strong at pushing as well. Will he be able to take this down and the town center down as well as the tower gets cleaned up? The units have to be pulled back. Rapl still putting his foot on the pedal here to try and take down this fortified town center before he loses his own town center. He doesn't have masons. He doesn't have the resources to get that. Lots of idle villages here at the moment. As the fire siphon going to be coming back in, as this town center going to be getting targeted down really, really fast. 4 ballista out, 3 fire giant, plus the human units to take this one down. There is so many upgrades onto this town center for Ulysses. In fact, I think he has every single one of them here. As the units pulling back, the ballista might need to start ignoring the town center for a little bit here. But it looks like he's going after the army now with those fire giants. The ballista do indeed decide to turn around and take this out. Picking off those hero Arcus is vitally important. There's only a handful remaining. Nice micro hit from Rapl to target down the Arcus ball on the back there with the special ability of the fire giant. Kronos, Ulysses' Kronos here now out of resources as those citizens stop being able to gather, as the army has to pull back. The town center still under siege here as the ballista coming through, but the villagers moving in to shank down those fire siphon here, as Ulysses not paying attention to the best of his ability here. As the town center getting closer and closer to falling. Rapl still not at full population, but the ballista are just so obscenely strong here. If Burning Pitch comes through as well to give a bonus 1, it doesn't quite get the kill. He has to retreat back, staying away from that Argus here, as he does manage to target it down, but it has to pull back. Both players smartly retreating on that position, as the fire siphon coming through to clean this up. As the villagers here, there's not many left for Rapl, as the palace and the watchtower going to be taking those down. The town center falling as Rapl comes through. He says, okay, I've got to defend here. Can he get into this position fast enough, or will he be losing the town center is the big question, as the raiding cavalry spreading out here, coming through to take down the fire siphon. Units need to start repairing this one back up. There's still no masons here for Rapl, which would be a big help. The ballista coming through to clean up the palace on this position here. 160 population for Rapl at this point. He's managed to get there. He's only got the 1 hill fort at this point. Gold mines at the top of the map here. Also, they're not that controlled. Both players not really going after those gold mines as much as I would have liked to have seen at this point in the game. As a fortified town center getting repaired back up. The fire giant here going to try and target down that Arcus. As the thing is, I'm pretty sure if you've got 3 fire giant, the Argus is not going to be able to get in fast enough to take them all down. So those ballista are just going to be cleaning Arcus up so well here. It's such a huge counter. As the Argus does go down. Nice play yet again from Rapl, keeping his fire giant alive as best as he possibly can here. As do we see any effort to putting any pressure or defenses onto both either side of the map? Neither player putting their walls up at this point. A little bit too chaotic to actually play those fundamentals here, as Ulysses is now down to 130 of 160 population. He just cannot deal with this Odin army in the late game, as the ballista pushing forward. You almost need to go in to some Contarius here or something to deal with those ballista on the back, because here's the thing, Rapl hasn't put any defenses up for the ballista. There's no towers, there's no walls, so some speedy units can get in and take out those pretty expensive at 300 resources, take out those ballista here. But Ulysses is refusing to build anything other than Arcus, towers, and fire siphon in an effort to try and win this game. We'll see if he's going to be able to continue here after all is said and done. The town center is still at 156 population, so it literally gets blown over. If Rapl sends a portable ram or a handful of Huskar or a fire giant, he could definitely take that one out here, as Ulysses hasn't put any effort into repairing that one. As champion infantry coming through here, the units pulling back as well, as Rapl, he is going to be able to slowly start pushing forward with this army. The only thing he should be worried about here in this game, and he is worried about it, is that the market needs to start. And the problem with the market is this water here is still under control for Ulysses. So Rapl might need to put some effort into dealing with that to get a safe trade route, or he has to trade to this town center. After all is said and done, that might be fine. Probably not too many problems there, as the Argus does push through here. The pullback micro from Rapl, too late here it seems, as the special ability comes down. And one fire giant goes down. Nice play there by Ulysses, managing to get in there to take those down. Basically, you want to just continue to suicide those Argus in to take down fire giants and just hope you can kill them off. As the Huskar still pulling in here, we see the villagers coming in onto this gold mine as Rapl finally realizes there's citizen down here. Ulysses hasn't started a trade route, so stopping the gold income of Ulysses will be game ending here. Indeed it is, as Ulysses realizes he can't defend the center of the map, defend his gold mine, and continue to live in this game. And he taps out in the 30-minute mark as Rapl manages to survive here in this game after that almost disastrous early game you'd have to expect. I loved the wall here. I loved the dock wall on this position. But the thing is, I feel like Odin needs to be aggressive here. You can't go for this second pond. You've got to have the second dock up over here to play around the deconstruction as well. And I do think there are builds which you can do as Norse, which play around the deconstruction and play around this type of strategy from Kronos that absolutely punish it. I do believe, even though Rapl manages to win here, he definitely played this one really well, but I do believe that this Kronos strategy on this map against Norse is cheese. If you know the correct response, I think that you should be able to completely run over the Kronos, in my opinion. Whether or not I'm actually right about that, I don't know. But that's up for the top players to give it a go and see if they can work it out. Or just try and outplay as best as you can. But Rapl levels the series 1-1. We get a game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. For all the marbles, well, at least not all the marbles, at least some of the marbles. If you guys enjoyed it, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.